Welcome back to Colster's Classroom. I'm going to talk about using real-life current events as a tool to integrate cross-curriculum teaching into your classroom. This is probably my strongest skill set and what I'm best known for. I've incorporated current events such as tornadoes, wildfires, hurricanes into my curriculum. We actually launched a program called CERT, Community Emergency Response Training. We were the second school in the nation to do that and the first school in Florida to do that. I've done numerous examples of incorporating the eutrophication of Lake Jessup into my curriculum. That included airboat rides, water sampling, a sock drive to plant plants into the bottom of Lake Jessup. We also had a situation where a student was bit on campus by a bat, so we made that a current event and educated the public about the benefits of bats, built bat houses, incorporated several other subjects into that, including drafting, where we built bat houses and gave them to people. Obviously, Earth Day is a common thing that we incorporate into the curriculum, and many other things. But today I'm going to talk to you about how I've incorporated the movement to change the state bird of Florida to the Florida scrub jay into the curriculum. And this has become, believe it or not, and I couldn't believe it when it happened, it's become a nationwide issue. This subject has made itself known across the nation. So part one of this video is going to be the educational value of the projects, specifically in this case, the Florida scrub jay incorporating into your classroom. Part two will be the history of the Florida scrub jay bill. Part three will be the learning results and accomplishments of those involved with it. I'll do a where are they now, and it will blow your mind some of the things that these students are doing now. The students involved with this back in '99 and 2000 have made incredible names for themselves and really crushed it as far as their careers go. Part four, I'll update you with where the Florida scrub jay for state bird bill is currently. If that's what you're interested in, go ahead and fast forward to that part. In part five, I'll talk about why the scrub jay, why make the state bird of Florida the Florida scrub jay. So if that's the thing you're interested in, go ahead and fast forward to that part. All right, let's start. I'm always on the lookout for a good way to incorporate any other subject matter into my curriculum that I can, specifically English, art, history, civics, any of these things. So I was on my way back from a field trip one day back in 1999, and in our courtyard for the school, I saw a bunch of students sword fighting. And I walked up to the teacher and I said, "What do you teach?" I was new there and I asked her and she goes, "I'm an English teacher." I go, "What are you doing today? Why are they all sword fighting?" She said that they were reenacting one of Shakespeare's sword fights in one of his plays. And I was like, you know what? I can work with that teacher. So I said, "What is the next thing you're going to be teaching?" And she goes, "I'm going to do a letter writing unit." I go, "Can I team teach that with you?" She goes, "Absolutely, be happy to do that." I go, "Can we do something environmental?" She goes, "Sure." So I started looking around at different potential things we can write about, and I noticed that there was a campaign by the Audubon Society to change the state bird to the Florida scrub jay. So I thought to myself, this is a great way we can incorporate letter writing into the environmental science classes. So I told the students, you're going to write a letter to your senator or your representative. You can be pro scrub jay, you can be anti scrub jay. I don't particularly care which you are. At that time, I didn't know what a scrub jay was, and I could care less about the issue. All I wanted the students to do was write a letter giving their opinions that they were in contact with a legislator of their choice. It blew my mind, the research the students did on this. It was absolutely mind-blowing. What I found after this is that the amount of research they did, I think it was 153 students in favor of the scrub jay and 3 opposed. So we sent off the letters, and that was the beginning of that. So we incorporated civics, we incorporated English, specifically letter writing, and we incorporated a current event relevant to my subject, which is the environments. And that's basically where this whole thing started. Like I said, when I started this whole thing, I could care less as to what the state bird was. I didn't even know what the state bird was. I didn't know it was the mockingbird. The kids taught me that too. Every single thing that you're going to see in this presentation, I learned from the students. I simply wanted them to do a letter writing unit. Team teaching and using a project-based approach is very, very powerful. One of the things it does is it connects the dots for the students. It shows them that the importance of math, the importance of English, the importance of being able to write a letter, the importance of science and art. We incorporated art in a number of different ways. On the left, you can see the button the students designed in 1998 using clip art, and on the right, you can see the button the students designed this year to hand out to legislatures, and that's a hand-drawn Scrub J. So when you allow students to use their skill set, in this case clip art and drawing, to work on your project, it makes your project much more relevant to them, much more fun, and that's powerful. The students are motivated to learn your subject and enjoy your subject because they're able to connect their skill set to your subject. And again, don't take my word for it. When you see that what these students have accomplished over their careers, the students I worked with in 1999 and 2000 and all along the way, the things they've accomplished are absolutely astonishing. So we've connected dots between civics, English, science, art. We've also connected it between articulating with other students from other grades. Students actually, my great drawers put together coloring books that they took to elementary schools, and they would teach the students in the elementary schools about the Scrub J issue and hand them coloring books. Again, I had no idea they had this skill set, and this was all very student driven. Once you allow them to incorporate their skill set into your curriculum, you have something awesome and something powerful. The other thing, obviously, is the research that goes into this. I didn't know anything about this issue. All I knew is I wanted the students to do a letter writing unit so I could team teach this unit with another teacher, and the rest was all taught to me by the students, and they did such an incredible job of researching it that they sold me on the issue. So that's basically the power of team teaching and using a project. It allows students to connect their skill set to your subject, and then you get really, really powerful, meaningful learning that is relevant to them. Here's a little history about this project we worked on, the history of the Florida Scrub Jay bill for state bird. It started out in 1999. The Audubon Society had sponsored a bill. I don't know a lot about what happened before the 1999 letter writing unit where we joined in. I know there was some things you can read up on as far as the Audubon Society and the issues that they were running into. But we picked it up in 1999. I had the students write letters. We sent the letters to Representative Bob Starks, who was our representative. Next thing I know, about a week later, I get a phone call, and Bob Starks said, "You want to come up to Tallahassee for a bill signing?" And I said, "Really? The students can come up and watch the bill signing?" He said, "Sure." So we went up, we met with Bob Starks. He signed the bill, and that was awesome. The students actually got to see civic engagement in action. The next thing I know, a couple weeks later, I get a call, and Bob Starks says, "Would you like to testify before one of the committees as far as the bill goes?" And I said, "Sure." The students would love to testify before a committee. So I took the students up to Tallahassee. They testified before a committee, and it passed 7-0. It was awesome. Again, civic engagement. The students went in there, they prepared their research, they won the votes of the representatives and got their bill through committee. At that time, Representative Starks said, "Why don't you go meet with the bill sponsor and meet Howard Futch?" So the kids went over. We spent a little time talking with Howard Futch about why he was involved with this, why he was so excited about the bill. The students loved him. They absolutely enjoyed meeting these representatives. Again, this is awesome. They're meeting the representatives who are representing them and their families. So then we were kind of done with our trips to Tallahassee. The bill died in another committee. The following year, we were invited up to meet with Senator Webster. They testified, he invited them up to testify before another committee. The bill passed that committee 9-3. On that same trip, we were invited to meet with Governor Bush at the time. So Governor Jeb Bush. We actually never got a chance to meet with Governor Bush, but he did let us meet with his aides. and they said, "Hey, why don't you go out to over to the House of Representatives and the Senate and pass out flyers?" So we did. So the students interacted with a bunch of senators and representatives and debated the issue with them as they were coming into work. It was awesome. Again, civic engagement. And then we did our testimony before the Senate committee, like I said, and passed the bill 9-3. Again, that year it died in committee because we obviously I can't. This is a unit I'm teaching. We can't go up and testify before every committee that the bill gets to, but it was nice to involve the students in this process so they could learn civics. After that, we actually we attended Representative Feeney's town hall and brought the issue up with him. And for the last 20 years or so, my students occasionally debate the issue with different senators and representatives. I know I do, and the bill's kind of simmered in the background. It came back up into fruition in 2016, and it's back again this year. So that's kind of where we're at, is that it started out in 99 and 2000. It got shot down both times. Then it came back. It's been tossed around here and there, and a very serious attempt was made in 2016, and it's back for the 2022 legislative session. So that's kind of a quick and brief history of the bill. This is a powerful picture right here. You can see the students are civically engaged. This is a senator reporting to work. You can see the stickers in the hands of the students. And he was kind enough to let us take a photo with him as we were handing out our buttons and stickers promoting the Florida Scrub Jay for State Bird. This is civics at its best. It's students engaged with the process, students doing research, students debating. It absolutely incorporated everything. It was the best of our students, and one of the most powerful reasons to incorporate project-based learning and engaging cross-curricular learning. The results of this project are absolutely amazing. They exceeded the most lofty expectations I could ever have had. Essentially, as far as the bill goes, it passed through committees in both the House and Senate. In both cases, the students testified before the House committee and testified before the Senate committee to get the bill through. Civics in action, students engaged. How wonderful is that? Second, it died in committee, so the students learned basically how important it is as far as how many committees a bill is assigned to and the process of being engaged. And it became a national issue. I never in my wildest dream would believe that a letter writing unit that the students and I were working on would become a national issue. So it's been referenced on HBO, it's been referenced in national magazines, it's been referenced on the internet multiple times. Incredible impact as far as that goes. The Florida Scrub Jay itself received lots of publicity as far as being a threatened species, and this issue continues to bring attention to that. Even if the bill never ever passes, every time it comes up, it becomes an issue that is debated, and the Florida Scrub Jay and the plight of the Florida Scrub Jay are debated across the state. It developed a coalition of supporters from several generations. I know at least 3 or 4 generations are now involved with this and understand the biology and importance of the Florida Scrub Jay and the issue of making it the state bird. The issue is still being debated 2 decades later here in 2022. The students learned real-life civics. They were involved in the process, and the track record of the alumni and the things they've accomplished is incredible. This unit, this teaching unit, this project had impact, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I was recently approached about doing a Where Are They Now for the 1999 and 2000 Scrub Jay campaign for the students who were involved. Off the top of my head, I know one of them is the chief of staff for a billion-dollar company. I know another one is the head nurse for a COVID unit. Another one is a U.S. Marshal. I can't show any pictures of him. I've got one who's a paramedic, one who's running a logistics company, another one who's a dentist, and several that are the head of their household. So the things that these students have accomplished is amazing. And at some point I will release a Where Are They Now video. I just want to touch on that. But the accomplishments that these folks have had by being engaged with relevant learning. All of them are still civically engaged, and it's just awesome the things they've accomplished. So where are we with this issue? In 1999, the bill was sponsored and died in committee. In 2000, the bill was filed, died in committee. 2016, bill never made it to the floor. And 2022, the bill has been filed. There's actually 3 bills that have been filed. One of them repeals the mockingbird as the unofficial state bird of Florida. That's Senate Bill 324. And 2 of the other bills name the scrub jay as the state bird for Florida. One is filed with the House, one is filed with the Senate. I believe they're concurrent. That's where we are currently. If you're interested in following this issue and being involved with it, I will list the site on this slide for you to follow my students on Instagram and keep up with the bill in that way. Here are the reasons my students came up with to name this Florida scrub jay the state bird of Florida. 1, believe it or not, Florida doesn't have a state bird. In 1927, there was a resolution passed by the Senate, but never signed by the governor and never passed the House. So it was a Senate resolution with making the northern mockingbird the unofficial state bird for Florida. That's number 1. We don't actually have a state bird. 2, it's the only bird only found in Florida. No one else can have our bird. So it's endemic to Florida, meaning it's the only bird only found in Florida. 3, 4 other states have the mockingbird. So if you were to make the northern mockingbird the official state bird, it's already owned by 4 other states. It's unoriginal. 4, the students came up with this one. They live in family groups with the older birds caring for the younger birds. Believe it or not, Florida scrub jays live in family groups where the older siblings care for the younger siblings, and my students would argue that means they're promoting family values. 5, they're beautiful. If you take a look at the bird, it's absolutely stunning. 6, they bring awareness to a threatened species, so the bird could use our help. Now, if you want to see a really good video on this, it has a silly name, but there's a YouTube video that if you Google it or YouTube search it, State Birds Are Garbage. Again, it doesn't have an appealing title, but it's the best video I've seen in 22 years. And the last 5 minutes of it covers the Florida state bird controversy. It's really, really well done. I'm going to go over ways you can help and be involved if you're interested. Again, from the educational aspect, I've already covered all of that, but for those people who want to be involved with advocating for the scrub jay, I'll give you some ways you can do that. And if you're a teacher and you're interested in being involved with this issue and you're in the state of Florida, feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to walk you through how you can be involved. Again, I'll put some advocating tips on the last slide here. All right, finally, if you want to be involved with this, here's how you can make your voice heard. Write your senator, write your representative, and write the governor. So 3 simple emails to, or snail mail letters is even better, to your representative, your senator, and your governor. Now, this is important, especially if you're a teacher. If you're a teacher, this is critically important you know this. All correspondence with government officials is public record. What does that mean? That means if you send a letter or your students send a letter to a public official, the email is no longer private, or the letter is no longer private, which means that people can contact that person and try to debate the issue with them. In other words, the thing I always worry about is picking up a troll on the internet or somebody who's opposed and being rude about it. And also our students there's lots of privacy issue concerns with that. So if you're going to do that, I recommend snail mail. I recommend students only sign their first name and possibly last initial. And if you're doing anything on the internet, make sure you have a permission form on file letting the parents know what you're doing, and that there's a possibility that somebody may send a rude email back to one of your students. That has happened before. It's rare, and I make sure that my students get their permission forms signed before they get involved with this. But again, there's some people out there on the other side of the issue, and some of them are not always that pleasant. We've never had any issues besides that. Occasionally, you might get a rude email back, but that's basically what you should be aware of. So if you're a teacher and you're want to be involved with this, I think it's a worthwhile teaching tool, but be aware, cover your bases as far as permission forms and making students aware that anything they send to a representative becomes public record. Here's a website where you can find your senator and your representative. And obviously, the Governor Ron DeSantis, was not difficult to find. There's 3 bills. One is Senate Bill 324. That's the one that repeals the mockingbird as the unofficial state bird by Jeff Brandes. If you're looking to do a couple other things to increase the chances of this getting through, I would recommend sending an email or a letter to Jeff Brandes supporting his bill. And Tina Scott Polsky and Sam Killebrew both have bills that name the scrub jay as the official state bird. And if you have time, I would write them each a letter and tell them that you're in support of it. So that's a total of about 6 letters that can go a long way. My students found that when they did that and corresponded with the government officials, the emails were very well received. Like I said, out of several thousand emails and letters they wrote, I think that we got 2 or 3 emails back from people who were opposed and possibly a little rude about it. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've picked up a little lesson on the history of the Florida Scrub Jay bill. But most importantly, hopefully you understand, whether you pursue this project or any other project, the power that projects provide students as far as allowing them to bring their skill set and the things they like into your subject matter, thus making it a lot more relevant and a lot more fun for them to learn. And the things you can accomplish, literally, this particular issue, nationwide. Never thought it would happen, wasn't even a goal, just happened to fall into it, and the students did a wonderful job. And to this day, 22 years later, students still talk about this, and I'm going to their 20th 20th reunion for their graduation this next weekend, and this will be probably a huge part of the conversation. So again, this is something that when you teach it to your students or get your students involved, is memorable. If you've liked the video, please hit the like button, possibly think about subscribing. I've enjoyed spending time with you. Colster out.